Hey everybody, JB back with you once again for another episode of Let's Play Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Justice for All. We are currently at the police precinct criminal affairs place, and Will Powers is here. Apparently, he has been brought in as the witness for tomorrow's trial, which is a little odd considering that he didn't really seem to be all that involved with the whole case to begin with. He was just kind of around at the hotel when it all happened. But at any rate, last time we investigated some stuff a little more, and, well, it's not looking very good for our client, Matt on guard. We went over to his house to feed his cat, which he wanted us to do, and one of the doors there looked awfully familiar, if you were paying attention during Maya's segments. So, curious to see what's happening there. Maybe the killer is using Matt on guard's place as a base of operations or something. He didn't really seem to tell us anything about the butler being there, or the butler, in quotes. Anyway, we're also trying to look into what this secret that Matt is trying to protect is all about. He has 5 psyche walks guarding that. And at some point we're also going to have to go back to the detention center to talk to Adrian Andrews. So first let's talk with Mr. Powers. So about this testimony you're giving, what are you going to talk about?
I really don't know yet. But it sounds like I saw something pretty important from what they tell me.
That sounds like somebody's putting some words in your mouth, man. You saw something important? What was it?
Well, the detective told me not to talk about it.
Of course. Can't tell anyone, especially not that lawyer, he said. Who do you think is that lawyer the detective was talking about? I'm going to take a wild guess and say it's me.
Yeah, you got it.
Mr. Nick, Miss Maya and myself are your only 2 allies in this whole world, but it's alright. Ouch, I don't really have a lot of friends, do I?
This is going to do a lot of damage to Matt, you know, because he's got that refreshing like a spring breeze image going.
But what is he really like?
Well, let's see. Matt's always been kind of a player with women. Uh-oh. He would never really turn a pretty face away, if you know what I mean. He'd always say, "It's just a game," to justify himself.
That doesn't sound like a very good person. What? How horrible! That's unforgivable!
Oh, sorry, didn't mean to offend you. But you know, he said once that there's only one person in the world who won't swoon over me.
One person who wouldn't swoon over him?
His manager, you know, Miss Adrian Andrews.
Yeah, I kind of got that impression. Why is Mr. Powers suddenly looking kind of energetic? I think he really likes Adrian.
Oh, you see, I'm actually a sucker for gossip. I mean, celebrities in their world have this dazzling sort of image, right?
A dazzling sort of image? But aren't you part of that dazzle, Mr. Powers?
No, I'm more of a hairy, sweaty, smelly, brutish kind of guy, you see. But it's okay, really. I get to hear plenty of gossip about a lot of the other stars around me as things happen.
Well, that's true.
Oh, hey, so did you hear about this yet? About Miss Andrews' mentor and her suicide?
Well, we've been looking into that. That's certainly been something that we've been wondering about. You mean Miss Impacts? We heard something about how her wedding was canceled.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I thought about it a little the other day, about the mysterious death. Hey, Mr. Wright, why don't you ask me about that? Go on, go ahead!
Mr. Powers is so charged up his skin is practically glowing with electricity.
Hey, so have you heard this?
Man, he really likes gossip.
Celeste left a suicide note.
Yeah, we've been trying to look for that, or rather Adrian has.
And they say that Juan went and hid it.
We heard about that in court today. But there wasn't any actual proof that she had left a note.
Well, this is what I think. I think that something bad was written on that note.
Something bad for Juan, that is. Something bad for Mr. Corita? Wow, everybody's got a secret, it seems. Why do you figure so?
Well, before she died, Celeste talked with a few of her friends, and she said, "It looks like I got caught up with a truly insidious man."
A truly insidious man? Did she mean Mr. Kurita by that?
Well, there's no one else that fits the bill, right?
Well, there's also another man involved in all this, but we don't really know for sure.
And that would be reason enough for him to hide the suicide note.
I see. Well, that's some good info. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. On Guard and Miss Andrews, they're both at the detention center right now. There are still things I don't understand or know about, I'm sure. I have to get the two of them to tell me everything. I'm gonna see if we can talk to him about Adrian, see how he reacts.
Hey, that's Miss Andrews. She's Matt's manager. Actually, I was interested in her for a little bit. Just a little.
Was interested? Oh, that's right, we already did this. Yeah, okay, we already talked about that. Alright, well, let's go back to the detention center. Now then, whose story do I want to hear? Let's go to Adrian this time. Oh, it's you. I'm sorry to be visiting at such a late hour. There are a few questions I absolutely have to ask you tonight. Me? I thought your client was Matt. I'm sure Miss Andrews knows something. She can't be clueless about this secret Mr. Kurita had on Mr. On Guard. Alright. I'd like to ask you about Matt On Guard, if you don't mind. Mr. Wright, you still don't know, do you? The real him, I mean. The real him? You seem to bear a lot of resentment toward Mr. On Guard. If that's the case, then why did you become his manager? And why would you become intimate with his rival? That has nothing to do with this case. Nothing. About Miss Celeste Impax. I had finally put her death behind me, and now, thanks to you, it's all come back to the surface. I'm sorry. Yes, I was shocked by her suicide. And it's true that when I had heard the rumor that Juan was the one who had hidden her suicide note, I began to draw close to him. I wanted to get her suicide note back, and to burn it. You wanted to burn it? But why? I didn't want it to spread like another piece of gossip. But I never held any murderous intent towards Juan. I would never do something so stupid. A suicide note, huh? I wonder what it said. Why did you try to frame Mr. On Guard? That's simple, because he's the killer, that's why. You're the second person who's said as much. Isn't it the duty of every good citizen to inform the police? Yeah, but there's a difference between informing the police and intentionally tampering with a crime scene to frame somebody. But there had to be another way. The police are excellent at doing their job, so they'd figure it out, right? Yes, they're so good that they couldn't figure out the real truth behind Celeste's death. Miss Andrews... Well, I know you're not the type of person to do something without a reason, so please tell me why you did what you did. Revenge. Huh? Did you say something just now? Ooh! One Psyche Walk. A Psyche Walk, huh? Don't you understand yet? You're not my lawyer. To be honest, you're more like my enemy. But I'm sure I just heard Miss Andrews say revenge. Can we present anything here? Stop it! I don't want to remember the hopelessness and the despair I felt back then. Hurry up and put that away, Mr. Nick! I'm so sorry. Oh wait, this was this one. Sorry, I meant to do this one. I don't care what the reason was. It's unforgivable that he hid Celeste's suicide note. But you don't have any proof that she left a suicide note behind, right? Celeste. She always believed that there was a right way and a wrong way to do anything. She would have left a note. I wholly believe that. Okay, I don't think we can really get anything new out of this, so... Nothing new here. Let's see... Oh! Something new here. Do 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 do. Bum, bum, bada, boom, 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 boom. Alright, let's answer it. Mr. Nick, your phone! I don't like the sound of this ringtone right now. It sounds kind of ominous. It's probably just your imagination. You should really pick it up, Mr. Nick. It could be important. Alright. Hello? We've got a big problem, pal. What's wrong? I'm on my way to your office right now. Okay. Hey, wait a sec. Why is he coming here? It's terrible. I don't know what to say, pal. It's the end, I say. I'm going to... Oh. I got here faster than I thought. Hey. Wait, are we still talking to him on the phone? His picture is still over here. I guess we were. No time to relax now, pal. I'm as confused as anything here. Well, what happened? We got him. We know who bought that spy camera. Oh, who is it? Eh? Is this Quigley? And this bear's what gave them away, pal. The bear? I figured it out, pal. I figured that we should have been looking into the bear instead of the camera. That's kind of what Edgeworth said, too. But wasn't it Mr. Edgeworth that figured... Shh, Pearls. And? Go on. There's only one person who bought one of those bears who's related to this crime. Who is it? Who would be so rude as to spy on another person in their room? Matt on guard. Of course. This is really not looking good for Matt. Huh? Matt on guard. You're quiet, that's who, pal. And here I thought things couldn't get any worse. Are you sure you heard right? That the person who bought this bear was... I heard it from the department store clerk, pal. Wait, they sold that at a department store? Wow. This is the credit card receipt for the purchase. It's for $3,800, pal. That's an exact match to the price of that stuffed bear. I find it hard to believe that a $3,800 bear is being sold at a department store, but maybe the creators of the game over-adjusted for inflation. A receipt? That's all you have? Nah, it's not just the receipt, pal. The store clerk said so himself. He told me, I'm sure I sold the bear to Mr. On Guard. I mean, the clerk even got Mr. On Guard's autograph out of it, pal. So I'm sure the person that bought the stuffed bear was Mr. On Guard himself. My sight is failing here. This can't be. Credit card receipt added to the court record. A receipt for $3,800. Proof On Guard bought a stuffed bear identical to one in evidence. So what about the spy camera we found? Ah, that was a dead end, pal. I mean, you can get this kind of thing from anywhere. But for now, I guess I can give these back to you for you to file away in evidence. Alright, we can go ahead and put all those back. I know you don't want to give up, pal. I didn't think it was possible. The person who put the spy camera in Juan Clarita's room was Matt On Guard. Why? Why would Mr. On Guard do something like this? I bet it was to catch Miss Andrews and Mr. Clarita in one of their rendezvous. That's what I thought, at first. I bet is not good enough for me. I have to know the absolute truth behind this camera. Are you going to see him? Mr. On Guard, I mean? Yes. I'm scared, Mr. Nick. I wonder what we will find out next. Yeah, same here. I'm scared myself, but I have to put on a good face for Pearls. Matt On Guard, what in the world have you done? Alright, can we present anything else to Gumshoe, or is this it? Oh yeah, do you know about this card? Card? Edgeworth, for some reason, went pale the instant he saw this card. Hey, I know what this is, pal. You do? The music stopped. No matter what way you look at it, I'd say it's a picture of a shell. Yeah. That's it? Oh yeah, that's right. Mr. Edgeworth really likes those cooked snail things. What are they called again? Escargot or something like that? Mr. Nick, I think we just solved the mystery of why Mr. Edgeworth's face turned pale, right? As I suspected, Gumshoe has no clue. Yeah, he totally turned pale because he ate some snails. That checks out. Alright. Well, let's go back here. Oh! We can talk to Mr. On Guard right now. You're working really late, you know? It's already past 10 p.m., dude. I think it's time you told me the truth. Relax, don't you know that ignorance is bliss? Okay, you are looking really suspicious right now, man. If you really want to know, let's talk. Okay, still the same options. I'm gonna see if we can make it far enough in the Psyche Walk. Matt's secret. Now, let's hear this secret of yours and what it is. What if Mr. Kurita had been successful in his plan? What would he have disclosed? I told you before, dude. I don't know. I don't know anything about Juan, okay? Look, Mr. Wright, I can keep on saying it until I'm blue in the face, but I totally didn't pay Juan any attention the whole time that night. I mean, come on. I was in the middle of a nap. Don't lie to me. You may have been in the middle of a nap, but I think you had somebody else doing your dirty work for you. Huh? I know you paid close attention to Mr. Kurita, especially on that night. I guess we can present the, camera. Someone used this camera to secretly film Mr. Kurita's room the night of the murder. Secretly film? What? And then sent the images the camera took with his transmitter. Wow. But dude, where was this camera you're talking about hidden? The spy camera was hidden in this bear's eye. A bear that was supposed to be a present from a fan. Ooh, we got one. I guess wanted a few of those kinds of fans too, huh, dude? Actually, I wouldn't say this bear was a present from a fan. You sure, dude? Who else could it be from? The person who gave this bear to Mr. Kurita was... I'm gonna go ahead and say you. I'm just going all in on the answers here. Hopefully I'm gonna get this right, because otherwise I'm gonna lose here. Mr. On Guard, don't you know this bear from somewhere? I don't think I've ever met Mr. Bear before, dude. Aw, but he says he knows you. How could you forget such a great friend? What else did the bear tell you? He says that the one who put the camera in his eye was you, Mr. On Guard. If I didn't know how you work in court, I'd think I was in some serious trouble. Come on, this is all a joke, right, dude? You're just pulling my leg. Looks like you're not ready to give up your secret yet. Well, do you have any proof you want to show me first? Here's proof that it was you who put the camera inside the bear. Okay. Oh, here it is. Okay, good. I have here one credit card receipt, Mr. On Guard. It's from when you bought that stuffed bear. Dude, all you can tell from this is I spent $3,800. I go to that department store all the time, okay? This $3,800, this could be the toothbrush I brought that one time. That would be a really expensive toothbrush. A $3,800 toothbrush? It's ivory, and it's got elephant hair for bristles. That sounds really disgusting. Ew. Elephant hair? Is that what rich people use nowadays? Anyway, the store clerk clearly remembers you and your purchase. After all, you even gave him his autograph, did you not? Or an autograph. Dude, you should have said that earlier. Okay, I got another one down. So can I ask you one thing? Yes. You're my lawyer, right, dude? So if you are, then why are you looking into stuff like that? Because if I don't know the truth, I can't help you. Sounds more like stupid lawyer talk to me. Hey, let's stop talking about this, okay? How about we don't? No, not yet. I haven't asked why you set the camera up yet. And what your secret is. Of course, it would be strictly confidential. So, what are you going to do now? I'm going to find out what I want to know, because I must. The reason you hid this camera in Mr. Kurita's room and filmed it in secret is... Uh-oh. I feel like there could be any number of things here. Let me make sure I've gotten everything I need here at this point. I don't want to miss anything. Do-do-do-do-do. Okay. Oh, okay, so we did have everything, but I think what we were supposed to infer was that he didn't want to catch, Adrian and Juan necessarily. He wanted to catch the murderer. Which I guess makes sense considering when the filming was happening. So I'm going to go ahead and present this. What is this card? Maybe he doesn't know about this card. This is a certain man's calling card. The man's name is Shelly the Killer, and I'm sure you know of him, don't you? Shelly the Killer? That's ridiculous. Well, why would I know some shady scumbag like him? If you really don't know him, then why are you acting so jumpy all of a sudden? Yeah, you weren't stammering like that before. This is it. I'm finally starting to get to the truth. I can't afford to make any more mistakes now. Mr. Mad on Guard. I know why you know Mr. the Killer. It's because you're his client. Everything's been leading up to this point. Since you're the one who set up that camera, that means you knew. You knew exactly what was going to happen in that room. So, how? How would you know something like that? It's because you're his client. That's why. You hired Shelly the Killer to assassinate Mr. Juan Corrida. The real mastermind behind this whole murder is you, Matt on Guard. And here I was, trying to be a good boy for you, dude. Uh-oh. I thought if you didn't know, you'd be able to do your job without feeling bad. Well, that's what I thought, anyway. Mr. On Guard, you really did hire? Uh-oh. Hold on a sec. I'm gonna consult myself, okay? Consult myself? Well, I guess it's probably about time anyway. About time for what? I think it's time for you to meet him now, Mr. Lawyer Dude. Ooh. Whoa! How do you do, Mr. Lawyer? I'm Matt on Guard. Whoa, where did that cup of alcohol, whatever that is, come from? Also, how did you smuggle that into the detention center? Whoa, the music suddenly changed here. Well done, Mr. Wright. I bet it wasn't easy to gather as much information as you have. You really? So you are Shelly the Killer's client? You didn't really think I would dirty my own hands in this, did you? What do you mean? And that woman, Adrian, was quite brave herself, trying to stick the crime on me. I didn't think she had it in her. But all I care about is that Juan is dead. Isn't that right, Mr. Lawyer? That's... You're lying! What a terrible... It's way past your bedtime, little girl. Go on and let us grown-ups talk about more adult things. But why? Why did you hide the video camera and... A weakling soon believes the words of others, just like that pathetic Adrian. He knew about Miss Andrews' secret, but I'm no weakling. I don't believe anyone, least of all assassins. What? Oh, come now, Mr. Wright. Assassins aren't above blackmail. They turn their clients into cash cows by holding the sinful deed over their heads. And a superstar like me, how much do you think I'm worth? Care to guess? And that's why... Yes, that's where the video comes in. It's got his face and the crime scene recorded on it, preserved for all time. With that, I can keep him at bay, and even blackmail him if I want. That's right, that video is my insurance. Isn't that what they call it, Mr. Wright? Why would you do something so wrong? Because I'm a grown-up, and I can. Good enough of an answer for you, little girl? Why? Why would you kill Mr. Corrida? Because he was about to sling so much dung onto my beautiful public image. Scandals are a little annoying, aren't they? This is all because of that press conference, isn't it? If Mr. Corrida had been able to give it, then Mr. On Guard's secret would have... Ah, well, that's what we call taking advantage of the situation, you know? I had no interest in doing it, really. But, bit by bit, it crept up on me. And then the situation just presented itself perfectly. How beautiful, I thought. And that's how Mr. Corrida ended up dead. Let me tell you something. I'm not like Adrian. I don't depend on anyone. People are simply things to be used. Used and thrown away. Put on a sweet, innocent face, and people will swallow anything you feed them. Adrian fell for it. The assassin, too. Oh, and how can I forget? Even you fell for it, Mr. Lawyer. Everyone, all working their butts off for me. Matt on guard. Aw, did that leave you speechless? What a shame. What's wrong, Mr. Lawyer? You've grown awfully quiet. How could I have been so deceived by you all this time? When we first met, I asked if you had killed Juan Corrida, and you answered very clearly that you hadn't killed anyone. Hey now, I never told you any lies. The person who did the killing was that killer guy, right? All I'm guilty of is taking a cat nap in my room. Well, and hiring him. But I guess that is true. I mean, we didn't see any psyche walks on him because maybe the question we asked wasn't the right one. You killed Mr. Corrida. Haha, I dare you to say that in court tomorrow. Grr. Aw, but too bad. You can't. You're my lawyer after all, aren't you? You could always drop my case and refuse to represent me. How does that sound? Aw, but you can't, can you? That would be the one thing you absolutely can't do. Mystic Maya! You wouldn't want to test the killer. He's a man of his word, or so I hear. You could end up getting a certain friend of yours rubbed out if you lose. You scoundrel! So if I were you, Mr. Wright, Esquire, I think I would give it my all tomorrow. Remember, everyone likes a happy win-win resolution. I'll get you for this. That's such a cliche phrase. Juan said something just like that, if memory serves. Of course, well, we all know how well things turned out for him, don't we? Good night, Mr. Lawyer. Maya. Maya, what am I supposed to do? And now you've finally found it. Oh, hi, Edgeworth. The starting line of this case. Edgeworth? I don't care for the horrid atmosphere here. Let's return to the precinct. Well, things certainly have taken a bit of a swerve, haven't they? Well, Wright, what are you going to do? If you plan on changing your strategy... No! We can't do that. That's right. He's holding Maya hostage. What should I do? That's not something I can answer for you. Mr. Edgeworth? Right. Only you can decide where to go from here. 1 year ago, at that time, I didn't truly understand what a prosecutor was. And that is why I had to leave the prosecutor's office. I felt that I couldn't stand in a court of law until I knew what a prosecutor really was. And now, Wright, it's your turn. My turn? What is this thing called a lawyer? What can you do as one? You must find the answer, and you must find it on your own. I'm a lawyer, but to fight for someone who is clearly a killer. Matt on guard. That man is really... Arr! It doesn't matter who. Every person deserves a proper defense and a fair trial. Isn't that the basis of our judicial system? Proper defense? What exactly is that? Is it where a lawyer forcibly and blindly gets an acquittal through shouting and trickery? Ironic that you, of all people, should say such a thing. Isn't that exactly how you've fought for your clients up until now? You know, he isn't wrong, necessarily. Well, that may be true, but that's because I believe my clients to be innocent from the bottom of my heart. But if I were to get on guard an acquittal, that isn't a proper defense at all. I became a lawyer because I thought I could save people who were suffering and in pain. But when I look at this mess we're in, I can't even protect the person closest to me. Even if I win the case, I still lose in the end. I just don't know what to do. Right. Would you get a hold of yourself? You have it all wrong. Huh? We aren't some sort of heroes. We're only human, you and I. You want to save someone? That's something easier said than done, wouldn't you say? That's... You are a defense attorney. You can't run away from that. You can only fight. That's all you can do. People like you and Franziska von Karma are always using all you have to pin me down. You fight to the very end, even when you know the truth is not with you. But I'm not like you. I can't fight for a false verdict, for a man I clearly know to be guilty. Franziska, she fights for herself. The only thing she fights for is her perfect win record. That's all. And? Isn't that the same as you? Yeah, look who's talking. Isn't that why you ran away a year ago? Because your precious win record was destroyed? You are so petty. I see. Now I understand why you despise me so. However, you are mistaken. What do you... Thanks to you, when you sealed off my path to a perfect win record, I began to realize the error of my ways. I realized that things such as a perfect record were meaningless. What? I don't believe you. Are you saying that is why you left the prosecutor's office? But then why? Why are you here now? The answer to that is something you will find out on your own. I have faith you will see it before the verdict is read tomorrow. But if you can't, then you will be powerless to change the ending of this story. Uh-oh. Mr. Nick, the transceiver! Uh-oh. I'm sorry for what happened earlier. Now then, Mr. Attorney, do you wager you can obtain an acquittal tomorrow? My, what is the matter, Mr. Attorney? I don't sense your usual anger this time. Tell me, please, why are you holding Maya hostage for Mr. On Guard's sake? Why are you doing this for that cold-blooded killer? Right. Please don't misunderstand things. He is my client. Don't toy with me. A man who hires an assassin is just as much of a killer himself. I believe you were asking me for a reason as to why I'm doing what I am. Yeah. This is what I like to call my aftercare. What the heck is aftercare? My name carries a certain amount of honor and dignity, Mr. Attorney. I take great care to ensure that no suspicion falls upon my clients for my handiwork. That is what is called client relations, and it is a part of an assassin's duty. An assassin's duty? We were unlucky this time, and my client was arrested as a suspect. As a result, I did what I had to do to enlist your expert help, Mr. Attorney, and to ensure that you wouldn't do everything in your power to the very end. What is your name? I believe I told you once before, however. You did. But my name is the Killer. Shelly the Killer. You're Shelly the Killer? Please keep in mind you do not have much space to maneuver with me. As a killer, I always finish what I set out to do. If you fail to keep up your end of the bargain... Maya! It would be my duty as an assassin to see to it she receives a nice, long nap. Ah! No! Now then, if you'll excuse me, if someone were to trace the signal back to me, it would be quite troublesome. Ooh. Mystic Maya! Mystic Maya! I love how all this is going on and that these people are still just working in the background. I don't know what to say. Edgeworth. Did you hear that at the end of that transmission? Yeah, I heard that too. Huh? Oh, that. It sounded like a cat. A cat? It can't be. That cat. Can it? What is it? I think I know where Shelly the Killer is holding Maya hostage. Edgeworth, have all police units head for On Guard Mansion immediately. Alright, you hurry over as well then. Don't lose hope yet, Pearls. The fight has only just begun. Yeah! Alright, well, let's go over there right now. I'm noticing that the bear from inside that room is now sitting out here. That's interesting. Maya! Please answer us! Mystic Maya! We have this area completely surrounded. There's no way for him to escape. Assuming he's still in the area. Can't believe it. That butler. All this time he was the killer. He and On Guard were working together all this time. I'm sure they had worked out a contingency plan ahead of time. Alright, I'm gonna look at this, because this is interesting. Oh, it's a figurine of a bear! But there are a lot of cuts in it for some reason. Oh, figurine added to the court record. A wooden bear-shaped figurine. It's covered in many thin cuts. A bear? Isn't that more of a thing for Mr. Corrida? Why would something like this be here? Right, look down. There's a little pet door installed here. Ah, I'm sure that's for Shu. Do you think that this came through that little door? This door. It's locked. Well, I'm pretty used to breaking down doors by now. Let's go, Edgeworth. Ooh, this room. Arg, there's no one here. From the looks of this room, I would say this is On Guard's private lounge. Look at this, Wright. An antennae for sending and receiving radio signals and a VCR. Check inside the deck. If there's a tape, it would be an important piece of evidence. If we're lucky, it'll have the moment the crime was committed recorded on it. I'm sorry, but the tape deck is empty. There's no tape to be found. Of course. No! But there's no mistake that someone used this to record something. It looks like someone took the tape we're looking for and escaped with it. So, let me get this straight. If Matt was recording the killer, committing the murder, and he had it planned out for the killer to come in here and take the tape, how would he know that the killer wouldn't have watched that and figure out what his whole plan was? I mean, did they just discuss it in very vague terms? I mean, even then you would be risking him watching it and figuring out that he was using it as insurance and all that. Alright, I'm going to look around here, see if there's any new commentary. It's a VCR and an antennae. The footage that the spy camera took at the scene of the crime was beamed here and recorded on tape. If only we had that tape, it would have been really helpful. A huge television and speakers loom largely here. I'm sure if Maya saw this, she'd say, I would die a happy samurai fan if I could see the Nickel Samurai on a TV like this. Well, she did say that. Yeah, that's what she'd say. Ah! I can't believe I just made a joke about Maya, all things considered. It's On Guard's computer. Maya, why couldn't you have used this to get help? Mr. Nick, where's the power switch? Oh, I get it. So that's what happened. She couldn't find the power switch. Yeah. There's a little door for Shu in this big door. I'm sure Maya used this door to shove this out there. I'm sure it was her. Probably. Every time you give me some piece of evidence, it's always the most crucial piece. This time too, I'm sure. I can't read all the labels, but this is a very large collection of videotapes. Looks like On Guard taped all of his own shows. Well, he does seem pretty absorbed with himself. What a spacious sofa. I bet 10 pearls would fit on here. I don't think 10 of me would fit, Mr. Nick. Maybe 5. Alright. Oh, there's a table. It's a very small table. I bet we could barely squeeze 3 pearls on there. But I wouldn't sit on a table to begin with, Mr. Nick. Alright. Didn't there used to be something on that table before? At any rate, let's go back and down to the wine cellar. We've searched all over, but it looks like he got away. I'm sorry. It looks like he slipped out of our grasp this time. And now, we've lost our only lead. Don't give up yet. That little girl is looking to you to be her pillar. Aww. Yeah, you're right. We're close, I can tell. We've already set up checkpoints along every route leading out of this district. Leave the rest to us. Maya. Well, there's this, which is what we were looking for. This looks like a picture of Miss Impax. With love, Celeste. Miss Impax? You mean... Yes, Mr. Kurita's former manager. Why would a picture of Miss Impax be here in Mr. Engarde's mansion? Well, I can think of one reason. And why does it say with love? This might be a clue. Celeste's photo, found at Engarde Mansion, with love, Celeste is written on it. Ah! What's wrong, Pearls? Please let me see that picture frame. Huh? What's so special about the frame? On the back, there's something written on the back of the frame. Maya. It's Mystic Maya. She left us a message. What? I thought you'd come. I knew you would. Now listen up. You'd better get on guard a guilty sentence, okay? If you get that creepy slime bag of not guilty, I'll never forgive you. Ever. I'm fine, so you don't need to worry. There's so much I want to write, but I don't think I have a lot of time left. Or space, probably. Pearly, you're there too, right? Make sure you help Nick, okay? Someone's got to watch out for the helpless lunk. That's it for now, Nick. I guess I'll talk to you guys later. No! Mystic Maya! Right. What's wrong? Why the blank stare? Oh, nothing. We've searched the house, and this is the last room. It looks like he eluded us. Edgeworth. Yes. As far as clues go, I think this is about all I'm going to get. But I'm still short one last thing. And what is that? Yeah, we need to go back there. Miss Andrews' Psyche Walk. If I could just find out what secret she's holding, then I think I stand a chance in court tomorrow. To blow this case wide open and expose the truth. I think I know what you're thinking. I'll contact the detention center. Thanks, Edgeworth. Well, let's go, Pearls. It's time to open that last lock. And we're automatically going here, apparently. Good evening, Mr. Wright. What's wrong? You look ill. Miss Andrews, I've come to remove your psyche lock. Psyche lock? I want to know, and you will tell me your secret. Fine, go ahead. Try to break me if you can. Alright, I think we've got all we need. Let's do this. There's only one, too. Why frame him? Can you please tell me why you framed Mr. Engarde for the murder? I've already told you countless times. It's because I thought Matt was the killer. No, that's not it. I know you have a personal reason to dislike Mr. Engarde. Miss Andrews, you may think I didn't hear it, but I know you said something earlier. You said revenge. So you're saying I was taking out my revenge on Matt, and that's why? What an absurd idea. I don't have anything I want to take revenge for. Miss Andrews, a woman who lives by being dependent on other people. There is something or someone in her past that would make her take revenge. Celeste. There is only one catalyst that could cause such strong feelings and even revenge. And that is Miss Impax's suicide. What are you trying to say? Celeste was Juan's manager. On top of that, the one who hit her suicide note was also Juan. What does all this have to do with Matt? You're right, you haven't mentioned him yet. But for you to hate Mr. On Guard, it would mean that he must have had some relation to Miss Impax and her suicide. Can you explain to me this relation between Celeste and Matt? I think we can manage that now. This is a photo of Miss Impax, correct? She definitely looks a little younger in that picture. Oh, there you go. She looks younger than when she passed away, though. With love, Celeste. This is Miss Impax's handwriting, isn't it? Where did you find this? No, that's alright. It was a rhetorical question. Yeah, it is. I found this at Mr. On Guard's mansion. And after all this time, my last remaining secret has been revealed. Alright. We got all of our health back in time for tomorrow. Celeste. She was supposed to get married to Juan. Yes, but I heard that it didn't work out. Because Mr. Kurita didn't want to get married to her anymore, right? Yes, because of Matt. But because of Mr. On Guard? What do you mean? I think I can see where this is going. Yeah, and it ain't pretty. Celeste. She was Matt's manager a long time ago. She was the happiest woman in the world at that time. I was working part-time back then, and I often saw the two of them together. So that's why. With love, Celeste is written on the frame of that picture. They were a couple, weren't they? It wasn't anything as splendid as that. Celeste was being used. Toyed with until she was thrown away. Oof, that's horrible. That's so horrible! I should just read the character dialogue. They're saying what I'm thinking. Matt's entire image is built around how nice and wonderful of a man he is. The scandal would have destroyed that. Which is why Celeste, in her kindness, moved over to Worldwide Studios. And that is where she met Juan. She seemed really happy with him, even happier than when she was with Matt. Celeste and Juan were such a good match that they were even planning to get married. And then, it was suddenly called off. On the night Juan called their marriage off, Celeste, she killed herself. And that's why I framed Matt. It was revenge for Celeste and for myself. I'm sure even you can guess why Juan called the wedding off, right? Probably because he didn't want to have anything to do with someone connected to his rival. Matt confessed to Juan about his relationship with Celeste. Okay, so he just dangled that right in front of his face. That's really terrible. I see. So that's what happened. But why did Mr. Kurita have to call off the wedding? I don't understand at all. It was probably because of his worthless male pride. Juan and Matt were always fierce rivals. Yeah. Matt waited for the wedding announcement and then unleashed the truth on Juan. He was aiming for when it would hurt Juan the most. Poor Miss Impax! That wasn't the end of it. That day, I'm almost certain that Celeste left a suicide note behind. And in that note, she left a detailed account of Matt's various misdeeds, and so that she would never again be hurt by Matt, she chose to die. Then when Juan discovered her body, he hid her note. But why would he do that? It's simple. Well, if there was stuff about Matt on there, I'm sure he could find that very useful. Juan realized that note was a powerful weapon against Matt. Yeah. And it would be especially damaging to his refreshing like a spring breeze image. I think it's more like a swampy bog image after what we saw earlier. In any case, With his pride hurt, Juan sought revenge. Revenge? There's that word again. Juan wanted to publicly disclose the contents of that suicide note. At a time that would cause Matt the most damage, of course. And that was at the press conference after the stage show. I know all about it because I heard it all from Juan. It was so I could find out all about this that I drew close to Juan to begin with. They're quite a pair of hideous monsters, aren't they? Even Celeste's death was something for them to use in their game. That night, when I found Juan's body, it was only natural that I thought the murderer was Matt. Those two were always spying on one another, after all. As for me, I was frantically searching for Celeste's suicide note. I wanted to destroy it before it ever went public. I was going to burn it. I even brought a lighter. But I couldn't find the suicide note, and that's when revenge crossed my mind. Yes, I was going to bring to them my own kind of cruel revenge. Celeste was killed by those two monsters. So when I stabbed Juan's body with that knife, I didn't feel a single shred of guilt. And that's all I have to say. Well, Mr. Wright, even knowing all this, are you still going to help that man? I'm a lawyer. I see. What a foul profession. Thank you very much for your time and for talking with me. It was no big deal. I couldn't sleep anyway. I can't sleep either. Not with Maya's situation, or with what I know now. To be continued. Well, I'm going to save more of my thoughts on this for the beginning of the next episode. But on that note, I will leave you all today. And we are going to take on the final day of this case in the next video. So take care, everybody, and I will see you next time.